Christian Goebel, you are co-head of Core Plus Real Estate at Macquarie Asset Management. Thank you for joining us on BiTV.
Hi, Luke. It's good to meet you.
The pleasure is all ours. You are co-head of Core Plus Real Estate at Macquarie Asset Management. What does that entail? And can you present yourself a little bit more to the people listening?
Yes, Luke, of course. So Macquarie Asset Management has four divisions, and one is a real estate division. Within the real estate division, we have basically two major teams. One is in particular doing private equity investments, buying platforms, buying operators, and helping those operators to institutionalize themselves, helping them through, for instance, growing governance, growing risk compliance procedures, but in particular supporting them in raising institutional capital for their platforms. The other part of our real estate activities is what we refer to as the Core Plus team, and that is actually doing direct investment and asset management activities. That is a team that is active throughout the entire globe with a particular focus on Europe, the Americas, which is the United States, Latin America, and Australia at this point in time, managing something around $12 billion at this point in time.
Thank you. Speaking of investment, Macquarie Asset Management recently acquired two logistic platforms totaling 102 square meters in northern France. What attracted you to this transaction?
Sure. Yes, we indeed just acquired in a forward purchase structure two properties in the north of France. They amount to approximately 102,000 square meters of total distribution and warehouse space. We like the French market. We like in particular the Hauts-de-France market. It's certainly one of the most active markets. We've seen tremendous amounts of take up in that market, especially 2022 had a very strong year. And France actually has been a market in which we have been active, both on from a logistics point of view, but also in terms of other asset classes, in particular office, for many, many years. So this specific property was a great opportunity for one of our open-ended funds to diversify into logistics. To date, this specific fund didn't have this diversification into this asset class. And with our belief in the logistics market, in particular the European logistics market, this forward transaction, this purchase of these two assets seemed like a very smart buy.
Great. Your group has invested, if I'm not mistaken, 11.6 billion euros on the logistics real estate sector. Can you tell us more about your investment strategy?
Sure. So, as I mentioned before, we have basically two teams taking its exposure into the diverse asset classes within real estate. One through private equity and platform investments, and the other one through direct investment and asset management activities. On both sides, we have been extremely active on the logistics market. We have helped logistics developers grow with a particular focus on the Asian and the American market. Most recently, we have also within Europe started to become more active on this side. And we've also taken direct exposure on behalf of our institutional investors through funds, through separate mandates, or through club deals in the logistics market. Talking about the European logistics market, we feel that the European logistics market, in particular compared to the United States, has still some significant room to grow. Prices have certainly decreased quite significantly. Prices have certainly increased quite significantly over the last couple of years. Yet we still see the opportunity of significant rental growth in the years to come. If you just compare the European logistics market or the European institutional logistics market to the United States, we see that we still have approximately 6 times more logistics space in terms of square meter per capita than we have in Europe. And just that ratio by itself, I think, is pretty significant. So we take a close look at individual markets, we take a close look at sub-markets, and with this opportunity of additional rental growth, we basically make our bets on individual regions, and Hauts-de-France is one of them, which we feel very strong about, and consequently we acquired these assets on behalf of one of our funds.
Speaking of which, you mentioned your interest for the French market. What role do you see France play in your development? Sorry, going forward.
Sure. Look, this is a great question. We have very ambitious growth expectations on the real estate side. We actually want to significantly increase our assets under management in Europe. And we do that, or plan to do that, by following trends, by trying to sort of forecast what we see in the market and where we see the most demand and basically potential in the future. So we look at trends, we look at demographics, we obviously also take into consideration other factors such as climate change, and some of the asset classes that we in particular focus on are beds, sheds, desks, and bites. And I spoke about desks and sheds before, office and logistics, and that is certainly something that is going to continue to attract our attention also in France. We will continue to be active on the logistics market, which, as I said before, is an asset class that we think will continue to grow in our portfolios, obviously with the growth of the e-commerce and other factors, as mentioned before. So you will see more of us on that front. We will continue to look into the office market. We actually continue to be very bullish on the office market, taking into consideration that certain occupiers are looking for very specific office buildings these days. We think that if you do comply with these requirements, if you are able to provide the most modern office space, which is taking into consideration post-pandemic architecture, which is taking into consideration obviously all of the most modern ESG requirements, then I do think that you do have a competitive advantage. In addition to that, we more and more look into the residential market, and with BiTS, I'm referring to the data center, to the data warehouse center market, in which we have become increasingly more active, and you will see also more and more of our team on that front. So France is playing a role. We are in the market right now, acquiring, as we speak, some new assets. So France is an important market for us.
Thank you very much, Sally. That's all the time we have today, but it was a pleasure having you with us on BiTV. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you all for joining us. See you soon on BiTV.
Thank you, Luc.